Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Guns and Yellow Ribbons preview podcast. It's been a long and arduous international break that saw England qualify for the World Cup next year, whenever it is. And we've got another international break in a couple of weeks' time to look forward to. How lucky are we? Tonight, we're going to talk about Water Aid and David Hillier's daughter, who's doing a marathon for a great charity. We're going to talk about all the weekend's Premier League fixtures. We're going to remind people the importance of talking. And then we're going to talk, last of all, with an obvious Arsenal bias, about the Arsenal game at Fulham. And we've also got our special guest, our good friend Lyle, joining us. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
My God, Trevor, that must have been the longest intro I've ever heard in my life. I thought you were going to start going like give us the pool scores or something like that.
I thought that the longer I spoke for, the less time we'd have to listen to you for, Fergus. So it had there was a moral there. There was a motive.
It must be Friday. It must be Friday. We're ready to kill each other again.
Well, yeah, but looking forward to tomorrow. We're back at it tomorrow. Lyle, how you doing, mate? Welcome.
Oh, delighted to be back, gents. Like Christmas seems to come around once a year, my appearances on the podcast, but fantastic to be back with such fine company on this Friday. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Thank you, Lyle. Welcome, mate. It's lovely to have you here with us. Ferg, how are you, mate? How are you doing? Are you on the beer tomorrow on the boat?
Mate, I don't know if I'll be seasick, but I don't think I'll feel it after about a half an hour. I'm with Lyle, I'm with Dan, I'm with Kieran, I think Lyle, I think it's about 10 or 15 of us in total, isn't it?
It's going to be an absolute laugh tomorrow. Fulham away on the boat, one of my favourites. We're going to be singing up and down the Thames, telling all of London that London is red because the Arsenal are in town.
Can you confirm to me exactly where Craven Cottage is? Is it Birmingham? Because it's going to take 3 hours to get from like Tower Bridge to Putney Bridge.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those. We've got to make sure that people are sufficiently hydrated before they get to the cottage because It's going to be an absolute party in the stands. Saturday, 5:30 under the lights. The Arsenal are in town. It's a bit like the old days, when teams up and down the land used to sort of queue up to watch the Arsenal. And we're back, mate. We're back. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait.
I must admit, I didn't have a ticket originally, and then I heard a friend was possibly not going to be able to go, so he was going to offer me his ticket, and that transpired that he's all right. And I put it in the group, anybody got a ticket? And Joe came along and said, I have got a ticket, but you got to go on the boat as well. And oh, well.
Well, I should be meeting you lads there because I get seasick getting in the bath, let alone going on a boat. And I have got a bit of wash. I've got a bit of work to do before, and I can't say any more than that. So, and I'm on the back end of a diet, which I ain't going to let go. So I will be trying to put up with you two and the others in the ground, drunk as skunks while I'm sober. It's going to be hard work. Hopefully, we'll have a big Arsenal win to celebrate it, eh?
You know what, Trev? We went last year. Myself and yourself met up, and I think I wasn't drinking last year. It was around January sort of time, I think. One of the games I went to, and I saw the boat coming in off the Thames, and you could hear it before you see it. And then as it came in, I went, "Oh my Jesus Christ!" I said, "That looks like carnage. I can't ever go on that." And here I am.
You know what they say? You only live once, Ferg. You only live once.
Absolutely.
Boys, I am quite jealous, actually, but I know what I've got to do, and I will see you in the ground. Well, actually, I might even try and avoid you in the ground. I'm going to see what kind of state you're in first, and we'll take it from there. Ferg, listen, to start us off tonight, before we go into any of our predictions, which, by the way, people, I say this every week, don't put money on our predictions because we're not very good. We just like doing it, that's all. Ferg, you've got a very important thing to say about David Hillier, who was a fine guest of ours on Monday. If you missed it on Monday, go back and look at it. David Hillier was funny. He was interesting. He kept us all going for well over an hour. By the end of the show, he told us that his daughter, Amy Hillier, is doing a marathon for charity, Ferg.
Yeah, David and his daughter, Amy, for her 30th, are going out to South Africa. And Amy is passionate about water aid. And she's trying to earn £1,000. And on Monday, she was at 480 quid. We got a few quid for her then. As of this morning, she was on 381 quid. So if you can go to the link at the bottom, Just Giving, and do Amy-Hillier-Cape-Town-Marathon. And chuck a fiver in, chuck whatever in, and just let's support a Gooner's daughter who's doing something really good for her 30th birthday as well. So yeah, it was a really good chat, wasn't it? I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they're already out in South Africa now, aren't they, Fergus? So,
yeah, they left on Tuesday.
Yeah, all the best to them. All the best, Amy. Dad and daughter holidays, it don't get better than that. Dad and daughter trips. Hope you have a great time, David. Hope you have a great time, Amy. And I hope you complete the marathon and raise lots of money. Right then, are we ready to start, boys? We're going to go into the first game on what, eh? Forest home at Chelsea, right? Forest had a loss before the international break. Chelsea had a nice win. Can Forest get anything at home to Chelsea, Lyle?
I can't see it. Unfortunately, Trev. I was thinking about this in the week, and I just think that Forest just reeks of the Big Ange effect, I'm afraid to say. It's one of those where, unfortunately, he's just stinking the gaff out at the moment. And I think it's one of those where, Chelsea, I think, will be too strong for them. Although I did see something funny in the week, which I was a bit more lighthearted, which was this old thing, help save the bridge. It's popped up on my timeline on Football Away Days. That was quite funny, actually. That did give me a laugh. So I think it's going to be help save Forest this weekend.
Do you know what? That was a long time ago. That was Save the Bridge. Blimey. I mean, Fergus will remember it. You and me won't, Lyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Look, right, Ferg, Lyle's obviously going for a Chelsea win. I'm going to tell you, I'm going for a comfortable Chelsea win at Forest. I'm not confident in Postecoglou and his tactics. Can you make a case for Forest, Ferg?
I think it's nigh impossible to make a case for Forest. The only thing is they're at home, and if their crowd can get behind them, as we know, they can be really, really loud, and they can be the 12th man. Chelsea have won 3 and drawn 1 of the last 5 in the Premier League, lost 2. Late winner against Liverpool. So, on a high, you would have thought bad news today for them. Good news for us because we play them in a couple of weeks. Palmer will be out for another 6 weeks or so. So I think he's a big miss for them. But nonetheless, I still think, you would have thought he would have learned by now, wouldn't you?
His phone's gone bloody bar. It's the missus. She knows I'm on a podcast. She knows I'm on a podcast, right? She knows. Divorce is on the cards here now.
There's an old saying, Fergus, you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
You can say that.
But listen, boys, Ferg, I don't know where we were when my phone rang, but
I was about to predict my score. I'm going Forest 1, Chelsea 2.
Chelsea 2. Well, I've gone Forest 1, Chelsea 3. But boys, Cole Palmer, hasn't he been carrying Chelsea? Aren't they going to struggle without him, Lyle?
I don't know, mate. It's one of them where obviously they've got goals in that side. So you look at the team this season. Their lad up top, Enzo Fernandez, he's been banging them in. They look tidy against Chelsea. So I mean, even with Cole Palmer out, I'm afraid to say I think I could probably whip together a Sunday League side and they could get past Big Andrew's lot. I mean, I don't know if you boys watched it when they played Swansea in the League Cup, probably about a month back, and I mean, they were 2-0 up and ended up losing that game. And to me, that summed up the absolute mess that Nottingham Forest are in. I just can't understand the thought process, getting rid of Nuno, who obviously got them into Europe. They were really credible last year, Nottingham Forest. They looked really good. And then you go to the Big Ange. So I don't know. I can't see anything other than Chelsea getting a comfortable win. But I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too, mate. But you're right, Lyle. I mean, we're all agreeing there. Chelsea win and a comfortable win as well, probably. Now, the next game we're going to look at is Brighton v Newcastle. But just before we do, right, this is a subject that, as a lot of people know, and Fergus and Lyle know better than most, that's very close to my heart, in that another very high profile young man took his life this week. And I find it very upsetting. I find it a waste. And so it's time for you to do your talking, Ferg. What anyone out there that's feeling in the slightest bit down or the slightest bit depressed or struggling with a bit of mental health, point them in the right direction, please, Ferg.
Well, Andy's Man Club is the one that we sponsor, in the sense of we get behind them and support them. We've had Alex on a couple of times as well, and we've committed ourselves, not anything to them, but committed ourselves, yourself, Trev, and everybody else who joined us, to share this in every podcast we do. It's okay to talk. It's okay to feel down. Reach out. Don't take permanent action for a temporary situation. Yeah. I posted this on our Facebook page, and I also posted it on the Arsenal Fans Forum Facebook page, this very picture. I lifted basically what you put on Twitter, Trevor, if I'm honest, and it's had some really positive feedback. Some people talking about when they've had bad days and that they've reached out. One in particular reached out to Andy's Man Club, and I said, I hope you're feeling good now. He said, I feel on top of the world. But It was Andy's Man Club or something similar. Even if it's your wife, your mate, whoever, just talk.
Yeah, talk to anyone. And do you know what? I got some feedback on that post, Ferg, and it was all good feedback. But somebody just made a point, right? And it was an interesting point in saying that I make it sound like it's so easy to talk. And if that's been the case, I really apologise, because I know better than anyone that to make the first contact, to do the first chat, is the hardest thing in the world, especially when you've got the weight of that world on your shoulders. But once you do it for the first time, right, I guarantee you it becomes easier. It really does. Not a lot easier, but it gets easier because it lifts a weight, right? So Fergus just said, and his Man Club, or absolutely anybody, if you need to talk.
Hey, Trev, just without breaching any confidence, me and you have a text conversation this morning about stuff. We do, and we're good. Yeah. It's good that we have friends like that. Not everybody has that, but like it can be about anything, silly, big, small, whatever.
Yeah. Look, Fergie, you're exactly right, mate. And I'm not hiding from that conversation. I'll put it out there. I mean, everybody knows that, let me see, 48 years ago now, my dad committed suicide, right? At a time when there was absolutely no support for him before he did the thing, and for me and my family afterwards. And when I have weeks like this week, it makes me feel a bit down, It doesn't affect me badly anymore, but I still think about it, and it's still nice to have a chat with a mate. So, that's all we need to say on it tonight. I don't know if you want to add anything, Lyle. You're very welcome, my friend.
No, I was just going to say it's incredible the job that both of you and the podcast have done just to raise awareness around this topic. And I think the most important thing is just to break down the stigma around it, because this is not some abstract issue that affects 1 in 10 million people in a faraway land. This is the topics that these are things which are impacting our friends, our brothers, our family, close people around us. And I think it's really important for us to raise awareness and say it's okay to talk. And, sadly, in the last couple of years, really close people, who are friends of mine have, sadly committed suicide and passed away. And it's sad. And it's something which, as blokes, we just need to continue to raise awareness about. And it doesn't matter, who you are, how old you are, how young you are, how big you are, how small you are. At some stage in your life, you're going to have, mental health challenges. But we're better together. We're bigger, stronger as a community. So I just think, as blokes, we just need to get our arms around each other and just continue to support each other. And just, incredible the work which you guys are doing to promote this. So keep up the great work.
Listen, we do it and talk about men all the time. And I know women go through the same thing, and I'm not getting all woke or equal and stuff like that on it. But it is because men struggle to talk so much that we emphasize the man thing, because men try to be manly, but like women do as well. And there is help out there for them as well. Andy's Man Club can direct you in that direction, if not the Samaritans and so on. Right, let's
thank you. Wait, thank you, Fergus. Thank you, Lyle. You both know how close to my heart that subject is, and we will continue to raise it on every podcast we do. But it's time to move on. It's time to move on to Brighton v Newcastle before the international break. Brighton had a draw. Newcastle had a win. I hadn't had time to write my notes down, so I don't know who Brighton drew against. I don't know who Newcastle beat, but I know that's what happened. Let's go to Ferg. Ferg, I like Brighton this season. I think they've got a chance against Newcastle.
Yeah, I do, but I also think Newcastle, whilst they've lost Isaac, I do think they're a decent outfit when they got Gordon, who's back in playing. The German guy seems, I can't pronounce his name, seems to be improving and getting.
What's new?
Thanks, Lyle. You can come again. But I think they're decent enough. I've gone for a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1. I think one will cancel out the other. And if it does, if I'm wrong, I think it will go in the way of Brighton. But I think they're that close. I think a draw wouldn't be a bad result for either side.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you've gone for a draw. I've gone for Brighton to beat Newcastle at home 1-0. I just fancy Brighton to be strong enough to beat Newcastle at home. I have a lot of confidence in Brighton this season. Lyle, do you see Newcastle winning or?
I can't see it now. When I was writing my notes up for this, I think it's going to be a draw. And I think a really seismic event happened in Newcastle season when the Arsenal came to town and took the 3 points and went home. And if I'm honest with you, I think that's completely taken the confidence out of the players, taken the confidence out of the fans, and it's taken the confidence out of the manager. Because if you take a step back and you look at their season so far, 7 games, 2 wins, it's not good enough for a team that want to be in and around the top 4 or the big 6, if you want to use that terminology. So I think if they don't win this game, then they're in a little bit of trouble, Trev, because you don't want to start to be dropping off the pack this early. So, I think it's a draw. And if I was a Newcastle fan, I wouldn't be worried because it's still too early in the season, but I would be a little bit concerned about some of the recent results because they need to start picking up wins.
Yeah, absolutely agree, mate. Yeah, absolutely agree. It's a very strong Premier League this season at the top. You know, there's more than 1 or 2 or 3 teams in it. And as you said, Lyle, if you drop off it this early, not all them teams are going to let you catch them up. You know, 1 or 2 might, but not all of them are. So I agree, Lyle. Right, boys. Burnley v Leeds, both coming off of losses before the international break. Both not having a great start to the season, you know. Burnley Leeds, I can't get excited about it. Lyle, how do you see it, mate?
I mean, look, it's really tough. I was just talking to a friend about this earlier, and I just think the biggest problem which both sides have is just that they just there's just the ability to score goals, really, and it's more prevalent for Leeds than it is for Burnley. I mean, let's look at it. I mean, Leeds have scored. They haven't scored enough, and this is the thing. It's like these teams are not scoring enough goals, and it's hard to stay up in the Premier League. If you're not going to score the goals, and this is what worries me with both of these sides is that you look at Sunderland. Sunderland have come up and they've been aggressive. They've looked to be proactive, whereas I look at the likes of Burnley and I look at the likes of Leeds, and I just worry about where the goals are going to come from this season to keep them up. So for me, it's going to be a draw, sadly, I think both of them could go down if they're not careful.
Yeah, I think you're really right. I really do. Yeah, I think that both teams are in trouble, Lyle. Ferg, I've
Adam's gone 6-6 goal fest.
Wouldn't that be, as long as it ain't our game, because my heart won't get through a 6-6.
I think good Ronnie is probably more like it 0-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Right, listen, Ferg, I can't split these teams, but I didn't think it'd be a draw. I've gone for Burnley to beat Leeds 2-1 purely because they've got home advantage and for no other reason. Where do you see it, Ferg?
I see it that Burnley are conceding goals. They've conceded the second most goals in the league this season. Only West Ham to concede more. So they've conceded 15 goals. Scoring goals, as Lyle said, both of them are struggling. They both scored 7 goals so far this season in 7 games. So they're not going to score many goals. I did consider home advantage, but I just think that Leeds just offer a little bit more.
Yeah.
I've gone Leeds. I didn't know whether to go 1-0, but I thought, sod it, 2-0. I've gone 2-0 Leeds.
Wow, big prediction.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone all 3 ways there. That, people, is why I tell you at the start of this show, don't pay a lot of attention to what we say, because I've gone for a Burnley win, Fergus has gone for a Leeds win, and Lyle has gone for a draw. So take your pick from them 3. One of us will be right. One of us will be right. Right, okay, boys. I want to get this done in an hour, so I'm rattling on because I want to have some time to talk about the mighty Arsenal. for a bit of a time at the end of the show. So Palace v Bournemouth, right? Palace coming off a loss, but it was a loss to a big club. Bournemouth coming off a win. I like both of these clubs. I really do like where both of these clubs are playing. I think I'm going to go first this time. I think that on current form and with home advantage, Palace are going to win this game against Bournemouth. Ferg, what do you think, mate?
I agree with you. I think nothing like a woman's score, and Palace lost their unbeaten record in the last game before the international break. Whilst Bournemouth have been good, and we're all very surprised considering how many players they let go in the transfer window, and key players as well. Semenyo has been outstanding, but Palace, Mateta, he's a beast. And I think home advantage, the Holmesdale fanatics will get behind them, make a big noise at that ground. I think it's going to be tight, but I have gone the same as you, 2-1 to Palace.
Yeah. So Ferg and myself both gone for Palace. Lyle, could you make a case for Bournemouth, mate?
Oh, this is tough. I actually think this is the hardest game of the round to actually predict. And the reason why is that obviously Bournemouth are in fantastic form. I mean, let's not get that wrong. They're fourth. Palace have just been slaying big teams at home, e.g. Liverpool. So it's a really tough one to predict. Originally, I had a draw, but then I was thinking to myself, well, if Palace are able to beat Liverpool at home coming from behind, I don't really see how Bournemouth is then a problem. So I'm going to go with Palace to win. I think it's going to be tight. I'm going to go 2-1. There's definitely going to be goals in it. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a cracking game. It's a shame, actually, it's not on the TV because I think that could be quite a nice, free-flowing game of football to watch. And I think also massive credit to both the managers for Bournemouth and Palace. I think they've got probably two of the best managers outside the sort of big established clubs in the league. I think they're fantastic what they're doing with minimal resources there. Yeah,
absolutely agree, mate. Yeah, so we've all gone for a Palace win, but all expecting Bournemouth to put up a fight, you know. Well, I was going to raise something there. Oh, yeah, while we're talking about kickoffs, Lyle mentioned kickoffs there, boys. Come to you first, Ferg. 8 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday v Wolves. What's your thoughts, mate?
I feel sorry for the Wolves fans that have to travel and also Arsenal fans that travel from all over the country and the globe. But we're not the first team to have an 8 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday. There's been 3 or 4 so far this season. Listen, I don't agree with the 3 o'clock blackout. So to get around the 3 o'clock blackout, they're playing more games at different times, and they basically want football to start in the morning and finish in the evening, that it can travel right all the way across the pond. So people in, Thailand can watch a game at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and somebody in New York can watch a game at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So everyone's it's about globalization of football. No consideration for us, no consideration for you who has to travel down 2.5, 3 hours from Lincolnshire for that game. You'll either be crashing here, you'll be crashing in a hotel in London, I expect.
To be honest with you, and I'm going to hold my hands up, and Dan Gunning's going to put a comment on here now. I might well be leaving a couple of minutes before the end, Ferg, and getting the last train. You know what I mean? 8 p.m. kickoff. Lyle, thoughts?
Oh, I think it's awful, mate. And I don't live far from the ground at all, historically. I mean, I've moved a bit further away, but still I'm sort of 40 minutes door to door. So I think it's awful. I think it's really bad given the time of year as well. It's just before Christmas. So obviously a lot of people will probably, it's the second last Saturday before Christmas. So a lot of people.
The hotel rooms are going to be a fortune in London.
Yeah, that's it. And a lot of people probably got Christmas plans with friends and family sort of in that run up to Christmas. So I think once again, it shows no thoughts for the match going fans. I think it's tricky because, to your point, Ferg, until they sort out the broadcasting and lift the 3 o'clock slot, they will naturally want to just get as many games on the TV as possible. But I think 8 o'clock football's rubbish. Shouldn't happen on a Saturday. But I struggle to see a solution in the modern game, because unless all of us fans can get together and really put some pressure on the broadcasters, it's going to get worse and worse. I mean, you're going to see Sunday games at 8 o'clock, or we've done it, boys. We've done worse. We've done the bushwhacker trips. Yeah, I mean, I put this in the chat the other day. It's like, we went to United, which was Thursday 8 p.m. We then backed it up with Everton Monday 8 o'clock. We then went Newcastle Monday 8 o'clock.
I remember that run of games.
We've been there, done that, got the passport stamp, and it is awful, and it's not right. And I think I think until the fans can get together and put some serious pressure on both the clubs and the broadcasters, nothing's going to change. And I just think that in this country, match-going fans are just treated awfully, and I think something has to change. I mean, it's embarrassing, actually, just the lack of support and representation we're getting at the moment across all sort of domains, whether that's ticket prices, the cost of train travel in this country, TV scheduling. It's a joke. It is awful.
Yeah.
It hasn't been announced yet, but there's a couple of games that I've got preliminary kickoff for, and Bournemouth away on the 4th of January is rumoured to be 7:30 in the evening, and Villa at home on the 1st of January, 8 o'clock at night. Again, that's there on New Year's Day. I don't know what the trains are like, but that's going to be nigh and impossible for people to go to. Again, that's unconfirmed. Don't quote us on it, but
Yeah, it's it baffles me greatly. I mean, I know television fans that watch the games on television get every right to watch the games, but us match-going fans, we don't get much consideration. But I honestly think, and this is my thoughts, before we move on, I'll just chuck this one back at you. My thought in my head is that TV companies don't care, right? They don't give a damn because they know that we'll find a way of getting there and getting home. Regardless, we'll find a way. And while we keep finding a way, they're not going to change. Lyle?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough, right? Because there's two different aspects to it, right? So it's like, what do TV companies want? They want as much audience and as much money as possible. Whereas what does a football club want? They obviously want people through the doors, they want atmosphere, but then they also want the money. So there's a natural point of tension here. And I don't think the football clubs have worked out how do we get fans through the turnstiles, get the atmosphere in the ground, but also make the most of the TV revenue. So I just think it's a real challenge. And I agree with you, Trev. It's difficult, but I just think the problem is these clubs are so commercially run at the moment. It's all about the numbers. And frankly, fans will come second. I mean, that's just the way that these clubs run. It's not right. But there needs to be some kind of solution. Like I said, there needs to be more fan-led pressure. And I think, look, overseas fans are also, supportive as well, because, they always talk about, the Emirates was quiet today, or, all of this kind of stuff as well. So I think, overseas fans, also want to see stadiums full and lively and a good atmosphere to back the team too.
Yeah, agree. Ferg, before we move on to City Everton, Lyle's made some cracking points there. Do you want to have the last word, close this down, and then we'll move on?
Yeah. To be honest, Dan summed it up in one of the comment up there. Football's nothing without the fans, lads. That's what they said in COVID. When it was empty stadiums, they said, we have to make sure that with the lifeblood, that build the atmosphere, they're all about the game. Because if you ever watched it without the fake noise, have you ever watched the football just with the stadium sound, it was horrendous. It was like watching a game of squash or something like that. It was just like echoey and noisy, and even a quiet Emirates is better than that. And they've got no consideration for us. We know that it's not just us as Arsenal fans. It's all teams throughout it. I understand to globalize it. I understand to monetize it, but it doesn't feel like they care about the game. They just care about the pound.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, boys, we've got to move on. We've been going nearly half an hour and we're not halfway through them yet. So Man City v Everton, boys, right? Both coming off of wins. Man City are going to be without Rodri, who is injured again. Everton are going to be without Grealish, who is, for me, has been their talisman this season. I think he's been monumental in Everton's performances. So both missing key players. Lyle, Man City have been playing all right, though. Can Everton get anything there, mate?
No, I just can't see it. I'll make your life really simple. I just think I like Everton. I think David Moyes actually seems to be changing his style of play to be a little bit more free-flowing than he has historically. But I just think Man City at home is just going to be too strong of a prospect, really, for Everton. And I just think it's hard. I mean, they're going to have to try and keep a lot of players quiet for Man City and then try and do their job on the counter-attack. And I just don't think they've got the minerals and the resources to do it. So I think Man City probably win that one quite comfortably, personally. Yeah,
I mean, Lyle, you've taken the thoughts out of my head, mate. Agree with you 100%. Ferg, do you differ?
No, I don't differ. And the other sad thing as well is that Haaland seems to be getting back to a bit of form as well. He's starting to score some goals. They had a good 5-1 victory against Burnley the other week, which will give them a boost just for scoring goals, because he wasn't on form that much last season. I think Rodri will be a miss, but the bigger miss will be Grealish. Grealish is key to everything that Moyes is trying to do with that Everton side. And I also think if they're at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, they've already made it at home quite quickly, which is quite good. And I think they have a bit of an advantage if they're there. But they're at the Etihad, as quiet as that can be. I've gone, what have I gone? I think I've gone 3-0. Yeah, 3-0 to City.
Yeah, so both of you boys are making sense there. So I've just seen a comment in there. Yeah, Grealish is on loan at Everton, and so obviously he can't play.
Oh, can't play, yeah.
Can't play against his
I think the biggest problem Everton are also going to have is holding the ball without Jack Grealish. It's like when you play the likes of Man City, if you're out of possession for a long time, it's a hard place to play because they keep the ball for fun, and I think that's going to be hard yards for Everton, I'm afraid to say.
do you know what, gentlemen? Going with my normal ways and the way my head thinks, I'm going to go for a draw, right? And do you know why I'm going for a draw? Because I'm letting my heart rule my head. I've got a bit of soft spot for Everton, and I don't think Everton have got much chance of getting a draw, but I want them to get a draw, so that's what I've gone for. Right, boys.
Well, Everton's only lost 1 in 5, so
yeah, but they've had Grealish.
Yes.
And I think Grealish has been massive, Ferg, to be honest.
You've got to hold the ball when you play Man City as well. It's no good chasing the ball for 90 minutes. That's the difficult thing.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But we'll move on. Sunderland v Wolves, right? Okay. Sunderland have got 5 players out who I've never heard of. Wolves have got 1 player out who I've never heard of. Sunderland have got doubts against 2 more players who I've never heard of. And Wolves have got doubts against 4 more players who I've never heard of. Right, so I don't know a lot about this game. Sunderland v Wolves. Sunderland coming off a loss. Wolves coming off a draw. Both not been very good. Lyle.
Look, if I'm honest with you, I've thought long and hard about this. I think Sunderland win this. It's not going to be pretty, but I think they've got the home ground advantage, and there's just a really good feeling around the club. There's a lot of belief there. The fans, the players, the ownership, they're all united, whereas Wolves, it couldn't be further from that, which is really sad, actually, because I've got a mate of mine who's a Wolves season ticket holder, diehard, been going for decades, and they're just not interested. Fans aren't interested just because of the way the club's been run, ticket pricing and all of those sort of things. So I think this could be the end for Wolves, which is sad because they've had a really good run in the Premier League, especially when they first came up under Nuno. Some cracking players there, but I think Sunderland win this one.
Yeah. Do you know what? It is a shame with Wolves, Lyle, because I know a lot of people don't fancy it, but I don't mind Wolves away. I quite enjoy Wolves away, man. I'd be sad to see him go down. But their fans have got the right ump about ticket pricing, and
of course, and rightly so. It's not a wealthy part of the world. You know what I mean? It's like everyone there's grafting, working hard, and what the ownership have come in there and done is disgraceful. And again, it shouldn't be allowed. There should be protection around that for fans. But I don't see a way. I look at the 2 teams at the bottom now, which is Wolves and West Ham, and I just don't see a way back for those football clubs in the short to medium term because the fan base is just so disgruntled across issues which are not going to be fixed in the short term.
Yeah, I agree. And I've gone for Sunderland as well. I can see Sunderland winning at home, raucous crowd. Wolves are on a downer. Sunderland for me, Sunderland for Lyle. Ferg, who are you going for, mate?
My head said Sunderland, but I think Wolves are desperate. They haven't won a game this season. I can't see them winning at the Stadium of Light, but I can see them fighting well enough to earn a point. And I've gone for 1-1.
Okay, Ferg, 1-1 then.
I think that's a far-fetched one, but I think you guys are probably right with a Sunderland win. But I put those down, so I'm sticking to the results I said earlier on.
A bit like I just did with Everton, Ferg. No reasoning why, but you're giving them a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get that absolutely right, boys. Moving on, right? Next one. Tottenham at home to Villa. Both coming off wins, right? But, both had up and down seasons, really. Hopefully more down for Tottenham, right? I'm going for a Villa win. I'm going for Villa to win 2-1 at Tottenham. I would never go for anything else. Lyle, Be careful because you could be on a yellow card with this one.
Of course, mate. No, don't worry. I mean, I'm North West London lad, paid up member of the anti-Tottenham brigade. So, look, there's only going to be one result there. I'm not going to be as pragmatic as you are, but I'm going to go for a draw. So that still keeps me off the booking and sensible. So I think
it gives you a yellow card, not a red card.
I'll be semi-honest, and I think it'll be a draw in that one.
He's back. He's back.
Silly Ron's
He's back. He's back. Oh,
Lyle,
Ronnie's back.
Lyle, we have two Ronnies. We have sensible Ronnie and we have silly Ronnie. But
he's been sitting there the whole time waiting.
He's been lurking in the background thinking, I can't wait till they get the Tottenham. That's hilarious. Welcome to the show anyway, silly Ronnie. We love having you along, mate. You're one that doesn't get any grief and joins in with the fun. Like, okay, so Lyle has gone for a draw. I've gone for a Villa win. Ronnie thinks Tottenham are going to beat Villa 3-1. Ferg.
Unai Emery's claret and blue army. Listen, I will say what I've predicted. I've predicted that it will be Villa 2, Tottenham 1. Probably think I'm looking in the mirror and the score will probably the wrong way around, but that's what I'm sticking to.
Right. Okay.
David's turned proper N17, hasn't he? Look, he's gone 100-0 for Spurs.
Wow.
No, I think he means it the other way. I think he means.
Yeah, but he's written it down wrong, so he'll get the forfeit.
I'll tell you what, though, if that one came in, jeepers, boys. I mean, we wouldn't really need to work for about 3 or 4 generations of Keatings, Hills, and Stewarts. I mean, could you imagine?
Well, unbelievable. Listen, boys. Chicken on a beach ball spy in the chat says Dang Gunny. He's all right. Ronnie's not abused us. He's joined in the fun, so he's all right by me, by Ronnie. But Ronnie, as you well know, we don't linger for long on that lot down the road because, if I'm honest, you're not really worth talking about. So we'll move on, right? We'll move on. Liverpool v Man United. Massive game Sunday, right? Liverpool have lost their last game, right? Man United have won their last game. And from my memory, Ferg put me right. From my memory, Man United don't normally do too badly away at Liverpool. They lift their game, Ferg.
They do. And I tell you what, I challenge people to get a quid. I don't promote gambling. I don't really gamble myself, but put a quid on my prediction. I'll put a $5 on my prediction because I think Man United are absolutely. I think Man United are absolutely dreadful. Liverpool are not firing on all cylinders, but I honestly, I'm with Adam, and I've gone for not that one.
That's Ronnie again. You're.
I know. Yeah, I'm with Adam. Why stop predicting? You keep on moving. I'm with Adam. 2-2. I've gone for a Desmond.
You've gone for a draw, Feg.
I've gone for. I think it's a draw. Yeah. Realistically, I think the odds have got to be in favour of Liverpool at home in the loudest PA system in the country. It's officially been announced now that they've got the loudest ground in the country. That PA system is amazing. But yeah, no, I just think that United will up their game and do something.
For the sake of any lawyers that might be listening, Fergus was suggesting to put a $5 on his prediction. He wasn't actually saying you must put a $5 on his prediction. But do you know what? Fergus gone for a draw, right? I've got this feeling that Man United are going to nick a 1-0 at Liverpool. I really do. They lift their game. I really think they're going to nick a win there. And it'd do us a favour, of course. Lyle, am I an idiot, mate?
I think it's hard because the scenario which we need to play out is that the game ends up being a dogfight. So it's not about trying to play pretty football. It ends up being a very physical contest. If that's the case, I think Manchester United have got a very good chance of going out of Anfield with something, whether that's a point or a win. I think the biggest mistake Man United would make is trying to sit back and allowing Liverpool to play football because of how dangerous Liverpool's front three are. We know that. But I think Liverpool's defence and midfield aren't the best. And that's where I think if United can turn it into a physical, fast game, they will have the opportunities in front of goal. Whether they can take it is something else. Look, the bookies are going to go for the Scousers to win, understandably. I am pessimistically going to go for a draw. I think that Liverpool are the biggest overrated team I've seen for quite some time. I think it's all hype. Take away Salah, Van Dijk. I really don't think there's much there. It's like a pastry. You bite into it on the outside. It looks nice. There's nothing in the middle. And
you're right. That's Salah and Van Dijk are the key for them. And Van Dijk seems to be covering the whole of the back four. He's running around like a chicken with his head chopped off. And Salah had a great season last season. I don't think he can have 2 seasons in a row like that.
Do you know what, boys? Right? Do you know what? And if Liverpool fans are watching, they're going to call me for this. But for me, it's a fact that the first few games of the season when Liverpool were winning, they were lucky.
Oh, they got the PGMOL in their back pocket. I mean, obviously, that's my personal view and not the view of the podcast. So obviously, if anyone wants to come after me, feel free to do that. You can send it to lyledoesn'tgive.com. But they've had the PGMOL in their back pocket for a long time, right? Let's be honest with you. I mean, Newcastle got robbed up when they played the game at St James's Park. And obviously, look, let's be honest with you. Man City have been the team of the last 5 years. This Liverpool team, I don't think they're anything special.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, when we played up there and they beat us, they scored a wonder goal. That player will never score that goal again. But I didn't even notice Salah was playing when we played him up there. He was that poor. And as for Van Dijk, I still think he passed it. I still think if you turn him round and make him run back towards goal, he's going to struggle. And I hope they do, to be honest, because I'm an Arsenal fan and I want us to win and I don't want them. Moving on to the last one before we go on to the Fulham Arsenal game. West Ham v Brentford, right? Lyle mentioned it earlier. West Ham are in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble, right? I can't see where their next wins coming from. They just don't look like they're interested. They've got Nuno now, who's a fine manager. We know that. Maybe he can work his magic. But that London Stadium is a massive stadium to be relegated to the Championship with 25,000 crowds in. There's not much of an atmosphere now, and if that happens, there will be no atmosphere. West Ham may as well go and play over Hackney Marshes because, they'll get more shouting over there. So I worry for West Ham. I can't see where their next points are coming from. Brentford are playing really well. I like Brentford. I really do. I'm going for Brentford to win at West Ham. Ferg, I know they're your second team. I know you love them a bit, but can you see West Ham getting anything?
I don't love them to bits. I a bit like you with Everton and so on. I watch them just because a mate of mine's a good mate of mine is a West Ham fan. No, I can't see them getting much out of it. As somebody said in the chat, there's going to be a protest over there, and they're asking fans not to turn up. And I think you probably have fans not turn up, but then they'll look and go, hang on, I can sell my ticket for 50 quid and it'll be full of tourists. But the atmosphere will be dreadful on Monday night there with not a lot to play for. But you are talking about 16th playing 19th. It's 4 points against 7 points. So both poor teams. And I think that's the way it's going to turn out. I'm hoping there's a goal in it. I'm hoping there's maybe 2 goals in it. And I prefer them to go to West Ham, but no, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really boring draw, and I think it's going to be at best 1-1.
Going to be a draw. Is this one of your mates here, Ferg? Well done, all Stuart from the Loaf.
Yes, it is. Yeah, hello, mate.
I thought I
was chatting to him. Yesterday and today.
I recognised that from somewhere. Anyway, right. So look, I've gone for a Brentford win at West Ham. Ferg's gone for a draw because he's got a bit of a soft spot for the Hammers, you know what I mean? I just can't see.
Arnie needs to check himself out here. I've never went half and half anything.
Arnie, woohoo! Lyle, tell me about this game. Tell me about, can West Ham get anything, mate?
No, I can't see it. I mean, if this was being played, 10 years ago at Upton Park, I'd have backed West Ham to get something because the crowd would have got behind them. They would have found something because that's the sort of club that they were. It was that East End grit, but that's gone now. That's completely evaporated. A bit like the wrapping around the stadium. It's kind of all gone a bit sort of plastic over there. And I'm gutted for West Ham because I've got some mates who are proper West Ham through and through and have travelled with them over land and sea, and and they don't go anymore, which I think is just an absolute travesty. So I think Brentford win this. I think they look a bit better going forward. And I just think West Ham are a shambles at the moment. I just feel so sorry for their fans, and I could understand why the West Ham fans don't want to go. So, I think Brentford win this. I think Nuno can turn it around at West Ham, but it's going to be hard because you're not going to get the atmosphere off from the stands. Because I think I heard
you come along and say West Ham fans have a right to feel aggrieved, but Graham Potter wasn't doing it, and rightly so was dismissed out of his job. Nuno Santos has been just appointed just before the international break. We beat them, and they didn't offer much, but they did look better from set pieces, which looked absolutely devoid of any understanding of the game, never mind anything else, with Potter in charge. So the ownership have done something. I think it's poor timing from those fans.
That's not where I was coming from, because they've been there 10 years now. Something like 35,000 West Ham fans have given up their season ticket from Upton. Something crazy like that have given up season tickets since they've gone there. All my mates who used to go Upton Park. It's not like when we moved from Highbury to the Emirates, because when we moved from Highbury to the Emirates, number one, we went into a stadium that was made for football. Number two, we stayed in the area, and then number three, you could see what we were building at the time. West Ham fans have got none of that. There's nothing. There's no vision. There's no intent from the ownership to actually progress the club, and they've been left with a shambles of a stadium. So I couldn't. If that was if we were in that shoes, I wouldn't turn around to any fan not going and saying you should pull your socks up and go, because I totally understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, you know what, boys? I say it a lot on this podcast, and I mean it. I genuinely mean it. I feel for West Ham fans. I really do. Having to go to that stadium every week and support your club. It's not a football stadium. It's an athletic stadium.
If you think about it, right, boys, right? So we've followed Arsenal through all of the different troughs, right? So we've seen the team be super successful, win league titles. We've seen us, obviously, when we were sort of more cup side, and then obviously less good. We had a couple of dark years. Obviously, Trev, you saw it when it was really bad. Obviously, when Arsenal struggled to just about stay up, right, back in the 70s, right, early 80s when they were really poor. But what's the thing that keeps us all together, right? We all love going down the boozer. We love going for a pint before and after. You can't even do that over there anymore.
You're right. That's really hard.
You can't. You're exactly right, Lyle. And the only thing I wish about that stadium is I wish Tottenham had won the court case and got the stadium.
100%. 100%.
That would have been hilarious.
Oh, that would have been like having all your Christmases come every day for the next 10 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Never forget that bad Ronnie, will you? Never forget that bad Ronnie. When you're chirping on about your flash new stadium, your owners didn't even want you to have it. Your owners wanted to move you to the London Stadium, son. That's how that much they care about you, boys.
Well, I think the reason that fell apart is because they couldn't rename it the Middlesex Stadium.
Yeah. Right, boys, listen, right. We've got just under quarter of an hour, right? Fulham v Arsenal, right, on Sunday. On Saturday, excuse me, tomorrow. I'm so excited about it. I really am. I want to be back. I love Fulham away anyway. It's a great day out. It's a great atmosphere. All the fans get on. It's an easy trip. You boys are going full on and getting on the boat and enjoying yourselves. I will either be seeing you in there, or if you're staggering, I'll be avoiding you in there. One of the two, right? Fulham have got a few players out, and they've also got Raul Jimenez is a bit of a doubt, it says. Ferg, would that make a difference?
Jimenez is a decent player. He's the one that connects the team together.
Hold, Ferg, hold. Have you seen Bad Ronnie, what he's put up there? Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Do we now block him?
Yeah. Ferg, I'll cut you off. Carry on, mate. I do apologise.
No. It's fine. So let me just get rid of that comment first of all. Over in that opening 7 weeks of the Premier League, we had an international break, but in those games, we've banished 3 curses, like the curse of at St James's Park, because St James's Park was a difficult place for us to go to. We've gone up there and won. Olympiacos didn't win 3 games in a row at our place on top of us. And West Ham as well had beaten us twice and could have won 3 in a row. And we've overcome those. Fulham hasn't recently been a happy hunting ground, but I think we've got a better team. I think we've got a better team now than we had last year. Much better depth in squad and quality. And it's just interesting when we talk about Liverpool and they brought 5 players in. We brought similar into our squad. We brought 6 into our squad this summer. But I was talking to somebody in the week, and it's what Arteta and whatever the whole coaching team are doing. When people are coming in, they're brought into a culture, and the culture that's within our club means that if somebody's joined, they're brought into the club. They're part of the team instantly. There's no fitting in, there's no adjusting, there's no adapting. They all work together as a collective. Yeah. And I just think we're just going to be too good for Fulham. It's a 5:30 kickoff. We're all going to be on the beer early. We're going to be noisy in the stands. The away end is really going to suck the ball into the back of the net. At least 2-0 to the Arsenal.
So, Ferg, you're going for the Arsenal. I'm going to talk about team selection after, Lyle, you've given your overview of the game and how you think it's going to go, mate.
Yeah, no, I think that was a very good overview from Fergus. I think the biggest difference between previous years at the Cottage and us going in now is our attacking options. And I won't go too much into personnel, but what's let us down the last couple of years we've gone to Fulham has just been no plan B. So I've been at all those games, and it's like you either go up a goal early, then you concede one, and then it's like actually there's no plan B, or like last year where it's a bit of a dog game and we can't get the final goal. I don't see that this year, and I think what the most important thing Arsenal need to do is go out and make a statement. And what's frustrated me the most about our performances this year is that there's not been a game where in the first half we've gone 2-0 up in the first 30 minutes. And for me, I'd love to see us do that at the Cottage. If I'm Arteta, my team talk is really simple. Go out, score 2 goals in the first half hour, and then it's going to open up and just put it on them. And then you're going to put them away 5-0. And I think this team needs that. They need a really big statement win to really get us on this run, because this next few lot of games, lads, is so pivotal for this season. We need to win this. We need to win Palace. We need to go up to Burnley, get the job done. Need to go to Sunderland, and then obviously bring it back to bring it back to our gaff for the derby. And for me, it's like we're building up the body of work. The fans have got to get louder. The players have got to get more aggressive. So for me, I think it's a big win tomorrow at the Cottage. I'm going to go 3 or 4 to the Arsenal. Yeah,
I'm with you. I've gone 3-0 to the Arsenal, Lyle, as well. We've all gone for an Arsenal win, which is pretty obvious, really. But, boys, I'll come to you first, Ferg, because I just want to get a bit more specific now, right? As much as I love Miles Lewis-Skelly, I love Ben White, I'm so proud of what them boys have done. Mosquera, Hincapi, any other defenders I've not named. But the back 4, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori, does that pick itself at the moment, Ferg?
It fit, yeah. The only one that I'd question, well, you can't really. It's just Ben White. Would he get into the team a bit more? But Timber for me is outstanding. You can't drop Timber. Calafiori last season, I could have said yes, you could have dropped Lewis Skelly, but this season his fitness seems to be much better, and he's been outstanding in each of the games. You know what? You can pick. You could pick 2 or 3 different combinations of back 4, and you could look at them and go, yeah, that picks itself. Because if you drop Saliba, who's had a not a great international break, he drew his last game with France, and he got 3 out of 10 in L'Equipe in the scoring. But I think all the back 4 got poor markings by L'Equipe. But say you dropped him and put Mosquera in, nobody would bat an eyelid. If you played Saliba and dropped Gabriel and put Mosquera in, nobody would bat an eyelid. If you dropped Calafiori and put in Lewis Skelly, you go, yeah, I can understand that. Maybe he's got to try and play him a bit more inverted and play 3 at the back. And likewise, if you drop Timber and put Ben White in, people go, yeah, all right. You would not be unhappy with it.
Do you know what, Ferg? Up until a couple of weeks ago, that was my view completely, and it still is in a way, because I've got every confidence in all of our defenders. But I just think Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori, I just think they're playing the best out of the lot of them, and they seem to be working as a unit, our defence. And they're hard to score against Lyle. What's your view, mate?
I think it's fantastic. I think this is the best squad Arsenal have had since the 2001-2 side, which did the double. And I think as fans, we're overcomplicating it. And the reason why I love that 2001-2 side is we went up to Old Trafford and we won the league that day. And you look at the team, you had, Edu stepped in midfield, and you had, Wiltord and Canu up front. And the key bit is you need to have a squad who you can rotate players in and out. And I think, yes, everyone's going to have an opinion as to who they think should start or shouldn't start, which I think is the right thing to do as fans, because I think the biggest problem with Arsenal for probably too long, actually, is that I think certain players have been too sort of comfortable with their starting place, which sometimes means that at times of the season, the performances can drop off. Whereas now I don't see that. I think every single player on that pitch, maybe with the exception of David Raya, probably Gabriel and Saliba, has got to play for their place. Because just of the level of competition. And I think that's what we need, right? And that's what the good Arsenal teams have always had, right? If you want to be successful, because I think that sharpens the level in training, right? And this is what, if you listen to the likes of Henry, the Bergkamps, the Vieiras, the Campbells, Martin Keown, they'll talk about it. They'll say the reason that team was so successful is because training was so intense. Everyone wanted to be on that team sheet on Saturday. So, I agree. I think the back four is the back four. It has to stay that way. It's tough, but football's a tough business. And boys, we've had 3 years in a row finishing second. There's no place for being nice.
2 years.
So 3 years in a row finishing second.
2 years.
3.
No, sorry. Yeah, 3 years. 21, 22, 22, 23.
This will be the third year, won't it?
No, we had 3 years. No, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So we had 3 years finishing second. There's no time for being nice. We've got to be ruthless.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. This is
Cross Conky said Victor needs to
leave that a minute. Leave it a minute, son. Leave it a minute. Because the next bit, right, I want to get both of your views on. Because the next part of this conversation gets a little bit more. I'm not quite sure, and it'd be interesting to get you boys' views. Looking at the three midfielders, which would one of them I would normally class as Odegaard, right? Odegaard's out, right? So you've got Rice, you've got Zubimendi, you've got Marino, you've got Eze who can play in there. He tends to drop a bit of a bomb in the midfield and surprise us. So I'll come to Lyle first this time. Who's going to be the three in the midfield tomorrow then, Lyle, in your mind? Who for you?
I think because it's away from home, he's probably going to go with Rice, Zubimendi sitting. I think he will learn from his mistakes and not go with Marino. I think Eze will play as the attacking midfielder because I just think it'll be a bit too static if Marino's in there. But I do think Marino's got an important role. Yeah, agree. Exactly what Dan has just said there. I think Marino's got an important role to play, and I think fans have got to get off the back of him, and they need to get off the back of Martinelli, because I think those two are going to be pivotal this season and coming up with big goals. But that's my midfield three.
Martinelli has been answering his critics, by the way, but hold that
correct, yeah.
Hold that subject, because Ferg, I've got here for me, right? Same as Dan said, same as Lyle said, Rice, Zubimendi, and Eze playing in the Odegaard role. I've also got Marino's name in there with an arrow to all three spots because he's appeared in all three of them positions. And then I've got Nwaneri in brackets because is he going to get much more game time this season? I don't know. Who knows? Ferg, are you on the same wavelength or do you differ, mate?
I'm a Zubimendi, Rice, Eze to start. You start with your best. It's a bit like the saying cup games, go out and win your game in the first hour, and then make your changes. If we need to shore it up, we can bring on Marino if we need to go and get that last minute winner because we're drawing or something like that. Marino gets in there with his head. The guy is just, I don't know, he's some sort of robot. You just program him, put him on and onto the pitch and he goes. He's just unbelievable. And what he's doing for Spain, he's record goal scoring for Spain as well. But you mentioned Nwaneri. I do hope he does get minutes. But that would mean you'd have to take probably Zubimendi off and drop Rice back and put Marino in. And then you'd have to take Eze off and put Nwaneri in. I think we'd need to be 2 goals up before we do that sort of substitution.
I think the one positive we've got, lads, and this is where I think Arsenal fans just need to relax a little bit, is we've got a lot of football. And I think Arsenal fans are very quick to be like, oh, when are the young players going to get games? And everyone just sort of goes into this massive sort of meltdown. But I think it's like, look, calm down. We've got Brighton at home in the League Cup, right? You've got Champions League games which are coming up where there'll be rotation. Got a lot of Premier League games, a lot of football. And I think with someone like Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly, I think Arteta has actually done the right thing because he's bringing them in slowly. He's building them up, which I think is good. So I've got no worries with Nwaneri. The guy's quality. He's going to be a great player for Arsenal. But I think if I'm Arteta, I'm going to tap him on the shoulder and I said, look, the 2 games for you, mate, is you've got a big second half to play against Atletico Madrid and then you're starting against Brighton at home in the League Cup.
Yeah. Do you know what, boys? I'm loving Arteta this season because for the first time since he's been there in his 5 years or whatever it is, he's got a plethora of players to choose from, and he doesn't seem afraid to make decisions on who's going to play and when they're going to play. And I like that. I'm enjoying that. So, right,
well, just want to make a Kev's comment there. Like, it could be a game for Norgard, Mourinho, and Ethan.
Do you know what? Arteta's got a habit of surprising us with a choice. It wouldn't surprise me if he sticks one of them 3 in. We'll find out tomorrow. We genuinely will. But I want to move on to the front now, folks.
No, we'll find out on Sunday.
I'm just going to mute him in a minute.
No comment, officer.
Right. If you're locked up with Fergus, and don't expect me to come and bail you out because I'll just be laughing through the window from the outside. Right. The front 3, right? The front 3, because we're coming up. We've just gone over an hour. So
we need to wrap this up. Yeah.
I've got down here the front 3 for me. Victor, Saka, and then I don't know because he's liked starting Trossard recently, has he? Let's talk about the wings and then we'll come back to Victor, Ferg. For me on the wings, Saka has been returning to something like his very best form for England and for Arsenal. Martinelli has been on the bench and coming on and scoring goals for fun. Sort of doing what Trossard did the last couple of seasons, coming on and joining for fun. So if Eze's playing in the 10 position, for me, I wouldn't mind seeing Saka, Victor, and Martinelli starting. The wingers, Lyle, tell me about the wingers. Who's on the wing for you, mate?
You've got to play Saka and Martinelli. And the reason why I say you've got to play Saka and Martinelli is that Martinelli scored a lot of goals for us recently. So, the tail of the tape reads, scored at Athletic Club. He scored at Man City. He got a goal against Olympiacos, I think, at home, which was good. And then obviously, he's been pretty pivotal. And I think you've got to reward a player like that at the start. You can't just keep him on the bench. So I think Martinelli needs to start. I think Saka needs to start as well. The only thing I worry about with Saka is his game load. I know Arteta loves to play him, but I think at some stage in the next fortnight, we need to rotate. We need him to get a little bit of a rest in the game. Probably, I don't know what that looks like because, again, I'm not going to claim to be the expert.
How far away is Madawaki?
I thought he was going to be out until November time.
Yeah, he's got a while yet. Yeah.
But Nwaneri can play off the right-hand side, so it's not like we haven't got options. But no, for me, it's definitely Martinelli and Saka. I think this game is pivotal to our season, boys. I can't explain how big this game is. I think some fans say it's only Fulham's. No. You've got to treat this like a cup final because if we win this game, look at the scoreboard pressure this puts on Liverpool, right? And I know everyone likes to say Arsenal crumble under the pressure. Well, Liverpool don't perform that well under the pressure either. We win this, we're going to go 4 points in front of them, 19 points. They're on 15. Then going into the United game the next day, this is massive. You've got to play your strongest team.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, if Man City win emphatically, which we've all predicted it will do, they could go top on goal difference.
Sure.
So we need to maintain that. So that's really important.
So Ferg, talking about the front 3, both Lyle and myself have gone for Saka and Martinelli. Leave Victor for now. I know you want to talk about him. I'm going to come to you last.
Only very briefly because I
think it's an interesting point, Victor. So we've both gone for Eze and Martinelli to start. I can see subs being used early in the game. Like for Saka, maybe an hour if we're winning it comfortably, 2 or 3, then he'll get him off. Who's your wingers, Ferg?
Well, my wingers are Saka, and I prefer to start with Martinelli over Trossard. simply because I think Martinelli runs the arse out of people, and then Trossard comes on, and he's such a fireball. He just goes for it, and he normally gets a goal or so. Although I can't criticise what he's done so far this season. He's come on, he started briskly, and he's done really well. And Martinelli's come on with his head held high and his chin up, where he didn't seem to do that last season.
Absolutely. Hasn't he just, like? Hasn't he just? And
just on that quickly, I think what the biggest difference for Martinelli has been the arrival of Eze. I think Eze is the most important signing we've made in a while, with the exception of Victor. And the reason why I say that is that Odegaard's lost his confidence in the last 12 to 18 months. He doesn't seem to want to play the quick forward ball anymore. He wants to take 1, 2, 3 touches sideways, backwards. Eze's come in and he's almost said to Martinelli, like, no, son, don't you worry about getting the ball, tucking in, going backwards. You just make that forward run in behind. I'll get you the ball. And
Did you watch Monday and listen to David Hillier? Because he compared, it was really, really interesting. And Trevor will agree with me. Really, really interesting. Comparing it's one of the few times you'll agree with me. Really interesting the way he talked about Odegaard and how he plays in the team, and Eze and how he plays in the team. Mm-hmm. And he talked about, you said the 1-2 sideways, backwards, but he said that Odegaard likes to knit the ball right through and do short passes.
Which is okay if he was playing as a 6. So if he was playing in the old Santi Cazorla type role, which is where Santi played. Santi used to play a bit further back, and Ozil used to play in front. That's not a problem. The biggest issue we've got is when we want to get things moving quick in the final third, which you need to in England sometimes, which is where I think Eze's been fantastic. Because you look at the goal against Man City, Martinelli makes the run in behind. Eze puts the ball for him on a sixpence. Yeah. That's what we need more of, because teams are trying to play the low block against us.
It was just interesting from us watching it as fans, what we were saying, and I don't disagree with what you said there, but hearing a professional viewing it and talking about it, it was just like it was like eye-opening.
See, I'm loving both of them this season, because you're right, Lyle, about Eze having the through ball. Ferg, you mentioned it as well, having putting a different perspective on the game the Arsenal play. Let's put it that way, right? And Odegaard seems to be back to nearly his best. He's finding balls, and I love Odegaard's press. I feel much happier with our side when we've got Odegaard in there pressing. But I just wanted the last one before we get to press the button. I hope you're ready with the button, Ferg, in a minute. Victor, right? I'm saying Victor because I can't pronounce his surname, boys.
Gyökeres.
He's getting a lot of attention in the media, right? And he's got no worse record than any of the other major signings that the top teams made this year. I'm absolutely fine with the way he's playing. He's making the runs. He's big, he's strong, he's holding the ball up. I will still say he's finding his feet. And not only is he finding his feet, I think that give it in the next month or so, next half a dozen games, are the likes of Eze and Odegaard and Rice and Zubimendi and Marino, if he's in the side, will start finding Victor's feet, right? And once the ball starts finding Victor's feet, then Victor's going to come alive. I've got absolutely no problem with him whatsoever. Ferg, I'll come to you first, because I know you wanted to mention him, mate.
It's good. Ronnie sent me a message on my phone, and he said you might want to mention tonight Arteta and Gyökeres. I'm not going to read out the whole message, but
good,
he said
Ronnie.
Yeah, the good Ronnie. Yeah, I'm not in contact with the bad Ronnie. Thankfully, he hasn't got my number. I told him before the first meeting that I want a number 9. That the number 9 I want is a number 9 who, if he doesn't score in 6 or 8 games, he can handle it. It's all about the mental sort of pressure that they put them under. This is my that first bit was the quote, but I do think that a lot of number 9s and strikers, they talk about the head drops and so on, and he wants somebody that mentally can cope with. If he's going to talk about how skinny he is in a second. I'm not. I don't need to. You do it for me, Ferg. Thank you. Okay, no worries. But I just think it's a good point to make, that you need a mentally strong striker, number 9. That if he's on a bad run, or like he scored 3 goals in 7 games, so it's not bad. But it's not like what everyone is screaming out for. They want 10 goals a game, don't they?
Yeah, well, that won't ever happen. That's just silly talk. But, I mean, Lyle, what's your thoughts on Victor, mate?
Oh, I think he's been absolutely quality. And I'm so disappointed in the Arsenal fans, right? Obviously, I got slaughtered for sticking up for Madueke. And I think a lot of these so-called fans, they haven't got a Scooby-Doo about the game, and all of these people will say, "Oh, Omri and Bergkamp was the gold standard," but none of them were around. I mean, it took Omri a long time to get up and running. Do you know what I mean? It took him, I think, best part of 8 or 9 games.
10.
There you go. Bergkamp was the same. Obviously, the papers at the time were saying that, who's this guy? You remember all the papers and all the nonsense that was running. And I don't understand it. I find it very strange, the narrative that has been peddled by some of the Arsenal fans about Gyökeres. I look at him and I think we wouldn't have won the Newcastle game without him. He was creating the space. And what Gyökeres has done, which is what we haven't had, is all of our strikers naturally want to come short, which is awful, because what it does is it closes the space you can play in. What Gyökeres does is he keeps the centre-backs and the defence is guessing, because he goes in behind, then he also goes to the left and he goes to the right, which stretches the play, which allows more space for the likes of the Ezes, the Maduekes, the Sakas, all of these sort of players. We haven't had that since Aubameyang was sort of interested, right, sort of 6-7 years ago. So I think he's transformed the way that we're playing football. I've got no doubt he's going to score 20 goals. And I just think, as a fan base, we have to ask ourselves the question, what is it we're actually trying to achieve with criticising this guy in the way that some people are doing it, not in the sort of discussion which we're having now, which is where, if I'm a football player and I'm seeing all of this online abuse from my own fan base, it's not really going to be helpful, is it? And I just think the fans have just got to get behind this kid, sing his name, and the rest is going to be history.
Yeah, absolutely, Lyle. Absolutely. And just to make the point, right, to confirm the point, how many times last season did we say Saka's struggling because he's got 2 players on him? Saka's struggling because he's got 2 players on him. When you've got a striker like Victor in the side, they can't afford to put 2 players on Saka, because that leaves him short in the middle, handling the big lad Victor. So that gives Saka more space, and he's playing better football. And you mentioned Madueke, Lyle. Absolutely agree, mate. And I called them fans out that were having to go at Madueke heavily on this podcast. I stood his corner. I was fuming with the Arsenal fan base. And I always am, because they've got a habit of a few of them being really nasty, and it shouldn't be done. It's horrible. They're Arsenal players. We back them because we're Arsenal fans. Ferg, listen, mate. If you got anything to add to the Victor thing, Ferg, before I move it along.
I was literally just going to say, similar along the lines, that we've that so-called fan base to slag off Madueke before we even signed him. 5,000 signed a petition to get rid of him before he even kicked the ball or put a pen to ink. We got so-called fans that slagged off Marino, who has been outstanding for us. They're crying out and wanting Havertz to replace Gyökeres once he's fit. And those same fans were slagging off Havertz when he's Chelsea reject, this, that, and the other. I think we can safely say that section of our fan base haven't got a clue.
Yeah, they're not worth us giving them.
I mean, let's be honest with you as well. If you take a step back, and regardless of your thoughts on the opinions of the likes of Sky, the BTs and their punditry teams, Talk Sports, everyone's saying we've got the strongest squad. Which, yes. I mean, it's something we've lacked historically, because what people have always said is Arsenal have a good 11, but they don't have a plan B. And if an injury goes wrong, well, what's going to happen? It all falls apart. And I think for me, the bit which I like the most about Victor Gyökeres is that once people are back up and running, is even if we have a game where after 65, 70 minutes, he's not scored a goal, you can then choose to bring on Havertz. You can then also choose to bring on Gabriel Jesus if he comes back into the fold. We've got options. And look, let's be honest with you. And this is where I think a lot of the young kids and the fans who've decided to follow Arsenal in the last 10 years haven't got a Scooby-Doo. Like, Thierry Henry didn't score in every game. In fact, he never scored in a cup final for Arsenal, yeah? It's like you need to have, like, you've got to have options out there, right? And I just think it's crazy the way that people are trying to demonize a striker who, by people's standards, he's not doing enough. Where he's doing plenty, the goals will come. It's the work rate and what he adds to the rest of the team, and it allows other people to do their job.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Brilliant. Do you know what, boys? I've really enjoyed this. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I've suffered Fergus better than I normally do. And it was great to have someone as sensible as Lyle on as well to outweigh Fergus. Listen, everybody, there's nearly 300 people out there watching us live. Thank you so much for joining us. There's a QR code in the top left-hand corner that Fergus is pointing at. If you can click on that, that'll take you to YouTube. If you can give us a like and a subscribe, that would be wonderful. It helps us make another 2p. Fergus has said he's going to buy me a pint of Guinness at the end of this season.
But when it gets to 60 quid, they'll pay us out. So, the target is on people. If they want me to buy you a beer.
I'll start a marketing campaign for the GoFundMe for the legal fees.
I think we're up to £24.
Yeah. We've only been going 8 years, so we're doing all right.
The YouTube channel is 7 years old today.
7 years old today. So we're nearly £4 a year. Look, nearly £4 a year. Fergus, thank you everybody for watching. I've said that already. We'll have a very brief 10 seconds after this, but one of the most important parts of this show is when Fergus presses that button. Oh, I'm hating being sober. It won't be long now, and I'll be back, boys. Listen, just before we let Ferg take us out, Lyle, thank you so much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on here tonight. Don't forget we talked about Amy Hillier and Water Aid. If you can find £1 or a tenner or whatever to give her. She's away with her dad, David Hillier, who was a wonderful guest on Monday. She's running a marathon in South Africa for a great cause. Also, don't forget, it's good to talk. It's hard to talk, but it's great to talk if you've got things on your mind. All of us are here. There's always someone to get to. And I'm just going to leave Fergus now to take us out and close us down. Thank you very much.
You give me a lot of buttons to press there to keep up with you. Now I've got to try and where all the videos are. Yeah, I'm there. Of course, it's a one-man studio in here. Listen, thank you very much, Lyle. I know we said an hour, but Trevor's on here, so an hour really is an hour. You know what it's like? You know when you go down to the pub, you say to your missus, "I'm going for a pint." What is a pint? What is one?
He said he wants to finish the show, and now he starts waffling on.
No, Lyle, when you go down the pub for a pint, is it 1 pint?
No, it's never.
It's 2 pints, isn't it?
It usually means 4 if you're around, but yeah.
If I was you on here with your big chubby cheeks against mine and Lyle's superbly chiseled features, I'd be wanting to end it and get off, mate. I would.
Do I need to go widescreen? Right, you have been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks very much for watching the show. We'll be back on Monday night, 7 o'clock. I'll probably have no voice. I'll probably have a hangover from hell. Lyle, I'll see you about 12:30 on Saturday tomorrow. Yes. Yes, I'll talk to you when we finish briefly because I just want to do logistics. But up the Arsenal. Fox Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.